we go. Move. Alrighty. Hello there. Welcome back to the new player guide to Retail World of Warcraft. I'm your host, Yogurt. Today, we're going to dive back in where we left off. Actually, a little bit further along than where we left off. I did kind of complete a few things off stream, just to push us a little bit further along, since we're nearing the end of the week. We want to make sure that we have enough time to complete some endgame content that will give us a decent choice from rewards in our Great Vault. So the few things that I did last time off stream, I did 4 more delves. So you can see here over on the right side of the screen, the Delves Worldwide Research is complete. And the call to Delves that awards a normal piece of gear is at 4 out of 5. And I did this to speed us along a little bit. I also killed a bunch of treasure goblins trying to get them out, but I wasn't able to do that. And then one of those delves was an overcharged delve. So to start off, I'm going to do 2 things. Just take a quick look at the inventory. I'm going to turn in the belt upgrade, which is going to give us this Titan memory card and an overcharged chest. The Titan memory card, we can... We'll accept the next quest. We can right-click the Titan memory card and use it on our disc belt, and that's going to upgrade our belt item level from 691 to 694. You can do this all the way up to item level 701 by just repeating these quests. So doing an overcharge delve on any tier difficulty, the mobs will be tougher to kill if you choose to do an overcharge delve, so I wouldn't recommend doing it on, a delve level 8. And then we'll open the overcharged chest. We got an awesome ring, huge ring upgrade with speed. Wow. So we're going to equip that in one of our slots, and we got War Within Superior, which is great. So that means that we have equipped item level 564 or better item in every slot. Our item level, I didn't equip any pieces of gear from the last time that we were playing. Nothing has changed there, so we still turned in our cartel chips for that heroic piece, or that heroic trinket. We haven't changed anything else there. And what we're going to do today is we're going to knock out a delve. So what I will turn in that other quest as well. What I did was I leveled up our delves. Good luck, friend. And you'll see what that looks like. So we just got a Hellcaller chest as a reward from that one. We got some resonance crystals, some valor stones, and 1800 undercoin. So we'll talk about delves a little bit. So one of the things that I wanted to do was to make sure that we completed a delve at the difficulty level of 8, because that is going to unlock a heroic piece in our vault. So that's going to give us 1 heroic slot down here, hero piece. And so what we're going to try and do is see if we can complete that tier 8 delve. So I think we did. Maybe we didn't finish the tier 7. And so one of the things that I did notice, I mentioned that the difficulty would increase with every tier level, or every tier of delve that we did. And I did notice that for the most part, you could notice a difficulty, but it was still very achievable at the item level that we were before we equipped that ring, which was 628 item level. So getting up to that +7 level, not really too challenging. I did also note that in the, I said that we didn't equip any gear, but we did. We equipped a helmet that we got at the end of a delve. So it was Explorer 4 of 8, item level 606. And then we got a little bit of loot that we just threw on the auction house, but it looks like it didn't really sell. So we're just going to pick up the materials there. And sitting at around 26k gold, which is pretty good. That'll give us enough to start crafting some stuff pretty soon. And we actually turned in the weekly delve quest. This is the other weekly delve quest, Delves Worldwide Research, so another pinnacle cache, so we're going to turn that in. And pinnacle cache gave us 623 veteran armor, back armor, cloak, so we're going to equip that. That's bringing us up to 631, so we're getting there. We still don't have our 4-piece tier set. That's something that we're definitely on the lookout for. But we're just going to try and start with a delve. So what we want to do is a bountiful delve. But we want to do it at tier 8. And we don't want it to be overcharged. And it's a little hard to see the delves that do have world quests over top of them. So you can see down here, this one is overcharged. And this one is overcharged. Which is really unfortunate. There's one. So the Takrathan Abyss is not an overcharged delve. Unfortunately, it's a little bit challenging. Okay, so Excavation Site 9 is also not an overcharged delve. So we're going to go and do Excavation Site 9, which means we're going to try and head down there. This is not going to be the easiest thing to do, but at item level 630, we're just going to go in and we're going to see how possible it is. Like I've mentioned before, the benefit of delves is that they are a little bit more forgiving in some ways than Mythic Plus dungeons, in that we can be methodical here. So we can take our time. There's no time limit. The only limit is deaths. So what we really want to do is make sure we don't die. And that means that even if this is what it takes, we can go through and pull one pack at a time, get through the delve, loot the chests. Obviously, one of the more challenging parts will be the end boss there. So first thing we're going to do actually is I'm just going to make a pit stop into the waterworks to make sure that we have tier 8 delves unlocked.
And we need some
I thought that we did that, but maybe we didn't. Okay, tier 8. A recommended item level 639 plus. We're at item level 631, so pretty close, but not quite there. So it could present a little bit of a challenge. Obviously, we don't have our tier set. We do have our belt, which will be helpful. Some enchants and some gems would help really boost our stats. We do have a hero trinket. We have a pretty good weapon, so we'll see what happens when we go through this. But like I said, we're just going to take it very methodically, one pack at a time. And this will have big dividends for us in our weekly vault tomorrow. And we're going to work on some dungeon level stuff as well. So we'll have a real juicer tomorrow. Probably would have been faster for me to fly into the Undermine and take the way back up, or take the teleport into the Undermine and take the way back up, but all right. So Excavation Site 9 isn't a delve that we've done before. We haven't done a ton of delves, but let's see how it goes. So for this delve, I have Bran set as a healer. So Bountiful Delves. So those are the delves that have the little golden doors that glow, and they have these modifiers. So this delve has an abundance of treasures and will remain bountiful while inside. Use a restored coffer key, which is what we just looted. from the quest that we turned in. To open the Bountiful Coffer at the end of this delve, you'll receive powerful equipment and greater rewards, provided you have lives remaining. So you have to have 1 life remaining by the time you get to the delve in order to open the Bountiful Coffer. The other thing that fortunately or unfortunately happened during one of those delves off stream was actually the first delve that we did at tier 4, tier 5, is we got a Delver's Bounty. So this is an on-use item that you can get randomly at the end of delves, or if you meet the underpin in one of the delves that you're doing. The underpin is a rare mob spawn, and he's also sort of like the delve end boss for this season. And he'll show up randomly in delves, and he will try and kill you, and you can defend him. You can defend against him. He'll eventually run away. And when he does, there'll be a little pile of loot on the ground. And if you haven't looted about a Delver's Bounty for that week, because you can just get them at the end of dungeons, you'll be able to loot a Delver's Bounty from him. Underpin actually did show up in one of the delves that I did off stream too. So not the most convenient for transparency, but is what it is. So the Delver's Bounty is going to, you can use this at any time, decipher the map, and guarantee that you'll find a hidden trove at the end of the next tier 4 delve or above that you complete. Hidden trove contents depend on the completed delves tier. So what we want to do here is use this before the end of the delve. But we want to make sure that we're going to be completing this at tier 8. So we're not going to use it right away. I'm going to write a big note so that hopefully I remember. Use the map. But we're just going to go in and see how we do. And there could definitely be some improvements to my town build. I am just going to rock with the dungeon build. And then from Brand's perspective, we're still like super early on in our brand development, our brand leveling. And I have him set up, because I'm feeling relatively squishy, I have him set up as a healer. My combat curio is the reverse engineered goblin, which just is when I fall below 50% health during combat, I'll throw a giant bomb. Knocks back and slows surrounding enemies. It is by no means the best one for clearing these quickly, but I feel like having something that would potentially save my life could be beneficial here. And then for our utility curio, I just have the biofuel rocket gear. Each time you slay an enemy, it increases movement speed and haste by 2%. Magical carrier, not really going to help us much. Overdrive pylon. After 30 seconds of combat, party members and Brand deal 5% more damage and healing for 20 seconds. This would be useful on the last boss. So maybe if we run into some trouble there, could help. But 5% isn't too much. And then pacifist rig. During combat, a pilot is designated over 8 seconds before airdropping the rig at their location, making them immune, granting them control of the rig for 10 seconds, and knocking back nearby enemies. Not entirely sure if this one's useful. We'll give it a shot. We'll see how it is. But biofuel rocket gear is just base level haste. And then, like I said, he's set as a healer. So what I'm going to be looking for and trying to pay attention to is when he drops health potions. I mean, you can see like this guy's already kind of kicking my butt a little bit. So we're just going to try and take this nice and slow and methodical. And we're going to leverage our cooldowns. We're going to use our kicks. And we're going to hope that Bran is on our side today. So when we're doing this, we want to keep our eyes peeled for these potions. And we need to slay old god forces and rescue survey team members. But here you can see even these parasites, like these are supposed to be normally pretty small mobs. They're not. And so this green reticle, I believe, is the pacifist rig. So It has you control it. You get a flamethrower. It deals pretty decent damage. I mean, this is taking one little parasite down, and then it teleports you back to wherever you were. So not that bad. We'll see. We'll see how it works here. But like I said, methodical is the key here. So, you know, a feaster is going to be relatively big. He's going to be what we use our cooldowns on. And when you start getting geared, a +8 is going to be nothing. You know, I'm sure we could probably pull a little bit more, but I have 5 lives. I want to take it nice and slow. I want to leverage Brand to help me out. So where do we go from here? We've got some parasites in the middle. These friends, these are part of the 2 delves that are related to the liberation of Undermined. Killing these will increase your Nemesis cache, which is awarded at the end of the delve, and it can contain a little bit of extra loot. This fan over here is the same thing. You'll usually see them standing near piles of gold. They are, however, challenging to kill. So we're going to try to avoid these in this clear through because they hurt. So what we're really going to be hoping for is that none of them are too close to the objectives. And we're going to leverage our rogue toolkit, if they are, to escape. So this assessor, I don't know. It looks like they have a questly glow around them, but they are awful close to that friend. So I'm also curious as a rogue, hopefully this isn't cheating, but as a rogue, can we zap the friends and pull things around them? Who knows? I don't really want to find out right now, but we can also see like what is considered part of the quest by looking up here. So this assessor is part of the quest. So it is a humanoid. I don't have anything crazy going on like a T-Rex or a monkey jumping around me. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to try and sap the friend and attack and pull away the assessor. Now the monkeys are out. And I don't know what the, mobs can be like associated with one another. So like when you pull, like if I pull this parasite, I will, I'll pull all of them. They can have that association. So I don't know. There's a strong chance, say you were trying to do this and you weren't a rogue. There's a strong chance that you could just go up and use a single target ranged ability on that corrupted assessor and go from there. But didn't really want to risk it. So I know these slitherers are a little bit on the tougher side. So I'm just going to try and do some stealthy stuff. If you can't, just pull what you can. And remember, all time is your ally. You have all the time in the world to complete this if you need to go, pack by pack. Or mob by mob, wait for cooldowns, wait for defensive abilities to come back up, use your stuns, use your kicks, make sure you drink what Brand's cooking. That'll all help. So here you can see I pulled a little bit more than maybe I was used to. So we're keeping an eye on where those potions are. We're up to 3 out of 4 of the survey team. I don't see any over there. We're only at 41. Oh, there's one. Nope, that's the one we just freed. I don't see... We're at 41%. I know this delve is a little bit on the bigger side. This pummeler is an elite. It would give us a benefit, but it's got a pretty big chunk of health. It would give us a bonus power. So I'm just going to keep working my way through. Here comes our pacifist rig. So it looks like it's a little bit random on when it spawns, which is kind of unfortunate because you can see it's decently powerful. So it would be really, really nice to have that when we were like killing an amalgamation or something like that, but who knows? So we've got the respawn point that gives us +1 life. So now we have 6 lives to use here. These are all bigger mobs, so I'm just gonna try and pull one. Of course, Brand's thing moved in, so we're just gonna go for it. We used our cooldowns and our Blade Flurry to go after that crawler. The mass is close to dying. We're gonna kill that next. We're close to dying. We're getting our pacifist rig. And of course that came down right at the end. So we're just going to go out on a limb here and we're going to try and kill this guy. But I just want to pull this one just in case. And smash could be a frontal. We want to dodge that. It's a little bit hard to see where those potions are. We're trying not to step on too many at one time. But we're doing okay. That sounds bad. Oh, looks like it's just an AoE. It gave us a pretty good chunk, gave us about 5%. Being pulled by these tentacles. This seems like a pretty decent little pack, couple parasites, so we'll hit evasion just to make sure we're dodging. And we're heading up in this direction because we're looking for more of these guys to rescue. Yeah, Brand's little potions blend right in. That was a pretty easy pack, so we'll go and kill this pack too. 2 crawlers and a mass. We'll use our cooldowns. Got our potions right over here. I'm gonna go pick those up because we got low. There we go. So we're at 90%. 3/4 of the survey team rescued. We're gonna stealth in here. And we got a couple options on where we can go. So these guys are obviously pretty close. We've got another guy over here in the corner. It looks like there's 2 in this corner. So I'm going to go for the isolated incident over here. And see, we've got 2 clots and an amalgamation. We've got 8 seconds left on evasion. Can we just sneak in and save them? He could pat back over at any second. So we're just trying to be stealthy rogues. All right, we got the last survey team. Again, if we, oh, this could be trouble. Patting back over, and this guy turned in. Okay, Bran. Thanks for nothing, buddy. Thankfully, Bran stunned him. Unfortunately, Bran threw all of our potions down here on this hill because I was trying to kite away. We got our cooldowns, though. So we push those. We hit evasion. And again, whatever class you're doing, if you're like a druid, you're using root to root these guys in place. We're using our stuns if we have them. We did it. So anything is killable if you just take it one mob at a time. So we need to use the map. Don't forget about the map. So we're going to stealth back through. Again, my recommendation would be to try, just like we were doing with quests, try and complete the objective first and then go back and pick and choose what you're really looking for in terms of the mobs. This is going to be interesting. So we're going to use the map. The only thing that kind of stinks about this boss is that it's kind of like 3 bosses rolled in one. So I know that there's one of them that you need to kick. So we're going to try and keep our eyes peeled on what we need to do there. We're going to be trying to keep an eye out for potions as they come down. And I don't think we're going to wait. I think we're just going to dive in there. Sorry, it's actually 4 bosses rolled into one. I'm pretty positive that this eye is the one that casts. So what we're going to do is just open up with that one, and we're just going to see how this goes. We have 6 lives, so the thing that we want to do here is just learn what we can and go from there. So we're just going to open her up. Start with Blade Flurry. We'll hit the evasion. And I could see this guy do Mind Rend. It's not kickable. I don't think I see anybody else casting. We saw one of them do, there it is, Terrifying Roar. We missed it. That's unfortunate. Oop. So there was our 50%. I'm going back over here, and I'm looking for those potions. There they are. Wow, we got really, really lucky there. We leveraged like all of our stuff. So I think this is the one we need to kick, Zelganath. So I'm trying to keep my eyes peeled on him. And we're low on health. I was wrong. It was this guy. We're going to get roared again. Somehow we didn't. I think Bran helped us out. Yeah, I think Bran stunned him. We're looking. There's potions. Oh, that was so close. We just got to kill these so we can focus on the big guy. There we go. Now he's weakened. You know, I said this was a new player's guide, but really all I did here was get lucky. This guy's hitting us pretty hard, so damage taken increased. So you definitely want to kill those tentacles first. We got the awesome roll. Bran threw us some potions. And we're just going to eat those conveniently. And now we're looking at our cooldown. So we're going to pop evasion now that he's back up over here. Can't really do anything with feint. Killing spree. Dang. I am extremely surprised at how that went. You can see we got a bunch of rewards there. Good few. A good fair few. Achievements, honestly, we really did get lucky. If I had recalled that this was the end boss, I probably wouldn't have recommended Excavation Site 9. The delves that are available to you are going to vary. All of the bountiful ones, all of the overcharge ones are going to be bountiful. And I'm not positive. I should find this answer for you. If you can turn the overcharge part off and just do the bountiful part. The what you have to work with whenever you start doing a bountiful delve or a delve is definitely gonna vary based off of whatever day it is, what's charged, what's not. Overcharged delves I don't think are even gonna last until into season 3, so those might be gone. We might be just back to bountiful until the mid-season turbo boost. With that boss fight, I did a bunch of things wrong. I had the wrong boss targeted with my macro to kick, so I missed both of the kicks. Bran saved me on the second one. So if you do this, don't do that. I wasn't tracking the health potions as good as I probably could have been. You can see I used my cheat death. I also received the benefit from Bran, who, when I hit 50% health, he stunned all the enemies. I didn't get the pacifist rig a single time, which is really unfortunate. Yeah, the only thing that we did right there was really making sure that we killed the tentacles first, because the big guy doesn't really do too much. Dodge the slam, dodge the AoEs on the ground, try and pick up the potions. We didn't use any of our deaths. So if you're in the same position, you're doing a tier 8 Bountiful Delve for the first time, learn from your death. And also remember, at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world if you don't get this bountiful delve in your cache. It's also really weird because I did complete a tier 8 delve and it only says tier 7, so I really don't know why our box says that. You can see here, tier 8, like we completed a tier 8 Bountiful Delve. Maybe we had to loot it. I'm not sure. No, it still says tier 7, so I don't know what's going on with that, but we just looted a bunch of stuff. So with the Delver's Bounty, we just looted that hidden trove. And this is exactly what I was talking about in the last video. So the hidden trove just gave us hero 1 out of 9 haste verse pants, which is ironic because I'm pretty positive haste verse pants are the piece that we don't want to catalyze. Let's look it up. We're going to go to Raider.io, Mythic Plus, team leader or spec leaderboards, rogue, outlaw, and I'm just going to grab the top 3 outlaw rogues. Okay. He did catalyze his pants, their crit mastery. This guy didn't, their haste verse. This guy did, their crit mastery. This guy did their crit mastery. So crit mastery. He didn't catalyze his shoulders, which are crit verse. This guy didn't catalyze his chest, which broken. This guy didn't catalyze his pants. And this guy didn't catalyze his shoulders. So we definitely do want to prioritize that 4 set. So we're most likely going to catalyze these into hero tier piece, but we're going to hold off on this for one specific reason, which is we want to open our vault tomorrow. So I'm going to equip these, obviously, because they're a 20 item level upgrade. And then we also got, just from doing the tier 8 Bountiful Delve, we got champion track arm guards. So we're going to equip those as well. That got us Draconically Epic, which is the achievement to equip an epic or better item with a minimum item level of 372 in every slot from Dragonflight. And we're going to leave this delve. We also got a couple other things. We got a big wheel of cheese for Bran. We got a couple upgrades for Bran's kit. So we got a new curio that we can add in there, 2 new curios, 3 new curios. And we looted a Radiant Echo. Radiant Echoes can just be used. You'll get a quest that'll show you how to do this, but anywhere that there's a World Soul memory, you can use the Radiant Echo to gather coffer key shards. 100 coffer key shards can be combined into a restored coffer key. You don't really need that too much because we're not going to be focusing on delves. The other thing that we're going to do is pop into Raid Finder because we haven't killed Styx Bunk Junker, and Styx has a tier piece that we could loot. Let's look at what it is because I want to see if it's pants. It's pants. That would be hilarious. So we don't really care, but we'll be in this queue anyways. So that puts us in a little bit of a spot here. So after doing all of our introductory quests, we've done our delves. We did just complete one other delve, so we're going to go back and we're going to turn in this cache of delvers spoils. I'm going to do that by popping into the underbind and then going back up because we want to see what piece of armor we get here. I hope that it's not pants. So if this was like the start of the season and I'm thinking about like longevity of my character, well, if I'm thinking about longevity, I would probably be getting rid of those pants, replacing them with mid-track pants anyways. But I am kind of looking to sort of balance my stats a tiny little bit. So like haste versatility, those are our best stat combinations. And when you're looking at tier pieces, you can look at what they'll turn into in the catalyst. I know that pants are crit mastery. Mastery is one of our worst stats. Crit is fine, but Those are our two worst stats. Whereas if I look at the gloves, they are high haste, low crit. So high haste is good. That's what we want. If I look at the chest piece, it's verse mastery, high mastery, low verse. Chest piece has a large tier budget, or a large stat budget. If I look at the helmet, it's haste verse. So helmet is definitely a tier piece that we want. Helmet and gloves. If I look at a couple of the other pieces, shoulders are crit mastery. So honestly, the only tier pieces that we really want are helmet and gloves, because those match the stats that are best for our character. There's some pretty decent flexibility across shoulders, chest, and legs. So because these are hero level, we will most likely be catalyzing these legs, and we'll find shoulders, chest that are good secondary stats. Hopefully that meet those requirements. So we could always craft them as well if we wanted to. So we got that quest complete. That other weekly quest is going to give us a normal piece of gear. So we're going to go ahead and turn that in the archivist. And we'll see what we get. We got a necklace, champion necklace, haste first. That's good. Those are the stats that we like to see. So that's a nice little upgrade for us. Could save us down the line a little bit when it comes to what pieces we want to prioritize crafting. I was hoping for an armor piece, because like I mentioned, we want to be getting our 4 pieces of tier. We can catalyze legs. We have gloves. We know we want helmet. So I think what we're going to do is take this radiant emblem that we got from the Nightfall scenario, and we're going to go pick up a helmet from that vendor, and we're going to catalyze it, because that is going to give us 2 piece. And then we're going to start spamming dungeons. We're going to try and get 4 Mythic Plus dungeons tonight, at least, so that we can get 2 vault slots here. But it would be nice to have our tier set to do that. You know, one thing that we could do, just to add a little bit more to it, is we could take a look at what dungeon is our best, or we could take a look at, are there any regular mythic dungeons happening tonight? And there are. These guys are doing a +0 Dark Flame. These guys are doing Theater of Pain. So there's 2 that are happening right now. And I'm going to remove myself from the LFR queue because we don't need that. If that guy's going to give us legs, we already have hero track legs. And so the reason that I'm trying to queue up for a Mythic 0 dungeon, which nobody wanted to join us, the reason that I'm trying to queue up for a Mythic 0 dungeon is for 2 reasons. One, it's going to drop champion gear, which is going to, you know, if we got one of these slots, we could use that as our catalyst, and then we could spend our Radiant Crest for another piece of champion gear. We could catalyze whatever we got, the shoulders, for example, or the chest piece, pick up a helmet, catalyze our pants, and all of a sudden we have 4 piece. So I'm just going to take a quick look at the dungeons. So we've got, from Cinder Brew, we've got shoulders. Dark Flame, we have gloves and pants. Priory has chest and helmet. Rookery has chest and hands and legs. Bloodgate has helmet and shoulders. Theater of Pain has chest and legs. Mechagon, shoulders and helmet, and hands. Motherlode, chest and helmet, and hands. So We want that chest or shoulder or helmet. So we're going to try and start a dungeon a +0 for Operation Floodgate. Start a group. Operation Floodgate. Oh, we need to use our authenticator. I didn't think of that. That's going to make listing our own queue a little unique. So if you're running your own account, regular account, no problem to set up an authenticator. I would recommend doing it. The Battle.net app is super easy. You'll really only ever have to authenticate like once. But because this account is separate from my main account, I don't know how authenticators work with two different accounts. Streamers do it, so it must be possible. So we'll have to see, but we want to be able to customize our title at least a little bit. We want to say, you know, what the key is. But I guess, yeah, we want to be able to say it's like a +2 just to help with searches. But I will give this until the time it takes us to fly over to the Nightfall vendor for us to give up and move into a +2.
Cobus infest the hungering pool and attack our people.
The secondary benefit of us picking up a helmet or a pair of shoulders, really, it doesn't matter, is that we those are our lowest item level pieces, so that'll help us with our eye level as well. Is there anybody out there who wants to do a floodgate?
The shadows contain many terrors. My store, only a few.
Now there's a couple options here. You know, I'm trying to be probably overly efficient. It's probably not necessary. But at 636 item level, I could definitely try my luck into queuing into a normal raid. They might look at my account, look at my Raider IO score or the dungeons that I've completed and say, you know, not really. I could start a normal group and just fake it till I make it, just work my way through. If I started a normal raid, that would give me champion track tier. I wouldn't have to worry about this so much, but I think we're just going to give it another 10 seconds and then we're just going to send it. All right, we're sending it. We're going to delist the group. We're going to buy the champion helmet. We're going to equip the champion helmet. We're going to hearth. And we're going to try and find a group. For Mythic Keystones, because that is our goal right now. So we will change our filter back to Mythic Plus, and we're going to type in the chat 2 to 2. And we're going to try and prioritize dungeons. Well, we can't join the All Druid one. We're going to try and prioritize dungeons that have a tank or a healer, because those groups are going to fill up a little bit faster. So we're just going to apply to those two first. And then we're looking here for things like, you know, a little bit higher of a Mythic Plus score could be good. We don't want to queue into a group probably with another rogue, because the group's going to need some other stuff. So we got invited to this +2 floodgate. It's just us and two other DPS here right now.
I understand your
We're going to get ahead here by catalyzing. helmet. Champion helm. And that's going to give us 2-piece. We could, if we really wanted to, if we really just wanted to get 4-piece as quick as possible, we could go in here, we could drop our pants in, catalyze those into Crypt Mastery. We could take our veteran chest piece, catalyze that, and we would have 4-piece. That would be no problem whatsoever. It would drop us down another 2 Essence of Kadgemite. We will you accumulate these at a rate of one every other week. So we would, I'm not worried about this. What I want to do is I want to make sure that I have 4 so that I can catalyze 4-piece on hero level gear. So I could catalyze these pants today, save 3 so that when I'm doing Mythic Plus dungeons and I get a helmet of hero item level or shoulders of hero item level or chest piece of hero item level or gloves, I can catalyze those pieces, because the hero gear is what we're going to want to keep and what we're going to want to upgrade to the maximum item level. So when we go to choose for our vault tomorrow, we're going to be looking at the available hero gear, trying to prioritize the tier pieces or the tier slots and catalyzing them if necessary. So our group just filled. So we're going to fly down because we don't have any portals unlocked. We're going to fly down and go to Operation Floodgate. So this current season dungeons include Cinderbrew Meadery, Darkflame Cleft, Priory of the Sacred Flame, the Rookery, Floodgate, Theater of Pain, Operation Mechagon, and the Motherlode. We talked about these in a previous video. The first 5 of those dungeons are all available on the Isle of Dorn. So the Cinderbrew Meadery is up top. They're in the War Within. They're in Khazalgar. The Isle of Dorn has a Cinderbrew Meadery. That's where we did that campaign quest. Down in the Ringing Deeps, we have Operation Floodgate, which is where we're headed right now. The entrance to that is right here, just south of Gundagraz. The Dark Flame Cleft is also down here. We did that one kind of as part of the scenario. It's over here to the east, northeast of Gundargaz. And then Priory of the Sacred Flame is right here, just north of Merildar. I think that's all of them. Oh, the Rookery. The Rookery is also in the Isle of Dorn. That's the one in the city that we did as part of the scenario. So we're trying to log in. That's what it looks like happened. So we're trying again. And here's our group. I'm still so surprised it says tier 7. We're going to have to see what that says. So we're just waiting for the rest of the group to get here. While that's happening, I'm just going to pop open edit mode. I like my party usually to be a little bit higher up. Not super necessary because we're a rogue. There's not really much that we can contribute here. I also like to have my chat frame a little bit further down, but I've been keeping it up here because I want you guys to be able to see it. So maybe we'll just do something like that. And then I'm also going to enable the Raider.io add-on because I think that's going to be helpful for us. So at the top, you can also search raid. Oh, looks like it may have been uninstalled. So I'm going to open up wago.io while we're waiting for Coco James the Mage. we install Raider IO. Coco's on his way. This guy looks like he has the tier 3 druid set. Or is that the remake? Looks good. Druid transmog set from Wrath of the Lich King. Alright, we're all here. We're going to select our tank, and we're going to hit him with our Tricks of the Trade buff. That's really the only thing we contribute. So Operation Floodgate. So this is kind of our first, we walked through a couple of the dungeons a few episodes ago. We did failed attempts. Oh, all right, we're going in. Never mind, we'll talk about that later. Normally, you do a ready check like they did, and then you do a pull timer. But they were just talking about lust timing. And so in Operation Floodgate, a very common thing to do is skip mobs by going right through this middle section. And we are going to pull this big group here in Lust. So we're going to hit Blade Flurry, and we're going to dig right in. So what we're trying to do here is not do everything that we just did. What we're trying to do here is kick these little surveyors, and we're trying to emphasize damage on this shredder. So we did get a kick off there, but we almost died here because nobody kicked that one. There's a lot going on. So what happens here in this first pull? So the Shredinator will do 2 abilities. He'll do the Flamethrower ability that he was just doing, and then he'll cast this ability called Shredination, which will put these little chainsaws on the ground. The surveyors, which are marked on my UI in blue, will cast that surveying beam on the group, on a group member. When they do that, it hurts, as you can saw from me almost dying. I just lost Coco James to Shredinator. This is a big pull, and usually the reason that we do this big pull in the start is to just get our Lust on cooldown. So we can use it more effectively throughout the rest of the dungeon. And then in Operation Floodgate, the first sort of the way to get to the final boss is by blowing up these weapon stockpiles. So as you're going through, you want to be blowing those up, basically. We just lost our healer for some reason. Not entirely sure why. So I hit Feint and Evasion. Lost Coco. Where's our boy? Where's Pub? So priority kicks in this first part of the dungeon are just going to be definitely going to be on that surveyor beam. The other mobs that cast in this dungeon are these hyenas. They're not super important. I'm pretty sure that their cast can be soothed as well. And we're off to a pretty slow start so far. So we need to get these stockpiles. So we want to kill this architect. just going to focus the surveyor because it's going to be the next interruptible mob. And he's going for it now. He's about to cast. Walk over and kick. And so these architects here, they start on scaffolding, and they will rebuild that scaffolding at a certain part of their life. When they go up back on the scaffolding, they are immune to damage. So you have to, or they take a damage reduction, so you have to kill the scaffolding to get them down. Any mob that is marked as red doesn't really do anything that's too important. We're going to head over this way, it looks like. This is another common path that people will take. Why is Coco James dying? He's in the water. And the reason that people tend to go left here is that they just use Lust on the first pull. This boss up here, which is where we're headed, is typically considered a little bit easier than the boss that's over here. So they will go to this one while Lust is on cooldown, go across the road over here to this guy afterwards so that you can Lust on that boss. But we are not very geared. Nope, shouldn't have done that. So here we have one architect and two contractors. Contractors just melee, so we're coming in here and we're attacking the scaffolding, and then we're prioritizing the architect because the architect has the most health. And a good general rule of thumb, normally, I mean, you'll see this when we start doing bigger dungeons. Your pulls will be bigger than this, but normally a good rule of thumb is to just always be sending your cooldowns as soon as you get them. He cast scaffolding as soon as he died, so we didn't need to do that. And then here we've got two surveyors and some scaffolding, so we want to prioritize that architect, and we want to kick surveying beam. Get that on cooldown. Man, this is going slow. We're doing okay. Like, our damage isn't that bad. It is just slow stuff. Let's get our music back on. Maybe that'll make us pass the time a little bit better. So this pull has a few unique things. It's got two shredders. So they're going to double cast that shredder ability, and it has one surveyor. So we want to make sure that we're moving for shredation, and we're kicking the surveyor. I have him targeted as a priority. Probably shouldn't, but just with how kicks have gone this dungeon so far, I want to make sure that I'm knocking him down a peg. So he's dead. We can now focus on the shredders. Normally, you'd want to prioritize those shredders because they have the most health. But I'm prioritizing group survivability here. We're just doing our best to dodge. dodge and stay in melee range so that we're getting those auto attacks to recuperate some of our energy. I don't know what's going on with Coco, but he is dead. Nope. Oh no. All right, Coco's back. So on this boss, this is there's two bosses here. I like to prioritize Bront because he is going to start charging around the arena pretty soon. And what the tank is going to do is he's going to keep trying to move him on top of Quick Fuse. When we're fighting this boss, she's going to summon these little circles here that will spawn with bombs. Don't run into the bombs, but we want to be... Oh god, not doing that. That's for sure. We just screwed up pretty bad. There's a debuff that goes out on our party members. When it's dispelled, they'll get knocked up into the air and the bombs will explode. So we want him to come over to the bomb so he can get dispelled, and we want to take our charges through the bombs. The charges will also result in destroying the bombs. So you can see here the druid comes in, he dispels himself, and boom, two of the bombs go up there. I'm gonna run across here because I'm trying to get him to charge me, and we take care of all the bombs. None of them explode or go off, and then I can simply just get dispelled. So you'll have a couple different things happen all at once. You will have AoEs going out, bombs coming out. You will have debuffs going out and charges. And your goal in that time, you'll get 3 charges. The last one will always target the tank. So I can tell this one's going on a ranged DPS player. That one's going on the second range DPS player. This one goes on the tank. And then we're going to get one more debuff that we'll be able to take care of. So that, the mage again. Trying to tell him to get over here, but he's not interested. So we're going to take more damage again. I'm going to pop my defenses. And I think we just need to stop talking and kill the friggin' bosses. You want to try and kill both bosses at roughly the same time, because that is going to... if you don't, they'll just enrage each other. That was a rough one, for sure. So now we're coming across here, and we're going to head up this ramp. Here the trash changes a little bit. We have snipers. Snipers will do a cast called Trick Shot that we want to kick. And then the demolitionist will do a big cast that is uninterruptible, and then the inspectors will jump behind you. So this is the demolitionist, this big AoE. The inspectors, you can see they jump behind you. They cast this purple ability, it's purple frontal, and then we've got shot. And we can do a couple of things to impact trick shot. We can kick it. We can cast blind. What we need to cast is Blade Flurry. So we're doing AoE damage instead of yapping. This can also be stunned and interrupted as well. Not interrupted, but stunned as well. Thing's going to head over here because we do need to accumulate some more trash percentage before we go down. So we're just going to prioritize the snipers. And we want to be kicking trick shots because it is one of the most dangerous. The hunter would like us to know that Blades of Flurry is some bullshit. I think because we actually pushed our buttons in the right order on the last pull. We did okay amounts of damage. You probably saw that Blade Flurry makes up 33%. What he didn't see was that our second highest damage was our belt. So this is the next boss here. They lusted on pull, which you're not supposed to do. So this boss has a damage amp. And he also has ads. So you want to be actively AoEing the ads down. That's not perfect. You want to be actively AoEing the ads down and kicking their maximum distortion cast and avoiding their frontal. You want to be cleaving off of the boss because you still want to be damaging the boss here. And eventually the boss's energy level will accumulate to a level where it will put up a shield. The shield will come down when you kill all of the ads. So we just killed all of the ads, so there is no shield. Thankfully our cooldowns came back up. We're going to hit faint so that we're not taking as much damage. We're going to hit our cooldowns because there's a damage taken increase of 200%. This is when you would normally lust to try and push through this phase with as much damage as you possibly can. So if you're a lust class, be sure that you do that. After that damage amp ends, 4 new ads come down and the boss puts this AoE on the ground. So we want to just start the cycle over again. And we want to be sure to kick. And we want to make sure, the other thing that we didn't mention was that frontal. So we want to make sure that we're pointing the frontal in an appropriate way. And we're, as a melee, I used Cloak of Shadows the last time, but we want to be trying to like step out a little bit. Also don't want to get hit by that. So that we can dodge it and we don't get silenced. So we're going to kick that again. So now you can see the boss's shield is up. We need to really prioritize the ads because their mama's going to be taking reduced damage. You also don't want to be pulling those guys. So. So another damage amp. We're going to hit Cloak of Shadows this time because we want to give our healers some help here. We also hit, we would want Faint to continue through this as well. And same thing is going to happen again. And at this point, you know, the boss has taken substantial damage. We really don't want to be this close to the trash up here. The boss has taken substantial damage. Our primary target is going to continue to be that boss. We're going to keep Blade Flurry up because it helps us funnel a tiny little bit. But we're really just going to be focused on getting as many... It's going to hurt. Getting as many finishers into the boss as we can. However, the boss is shielded again, so we have to kill these ads. Stinks. I don't think we're gonna time this, folks. I'm gonna be honest with you. This poor healer's going through the ringer. This is the worst thing that could happen to us because they're dead as we go into this. Damn it, wow, that was nuts. Man, 2s are where the action is, I'll tell you that much. All right, 2 bosses down. 12 minutes left on the timer. We got 3 bosses going, 50% of our trash. I can tell you right now, 10 deaths in, we are not going to be doing this on time. Doesn't matter. Even if you don't time the dungeon, you will still get this. Oh God. You will still get credit in your Great Ball. These trash packs that'll happen after this boss and up the hill before we head down to the next boss. The Warp Blood is an AoE that will target the whole group. For healers, they have to heal through that, and then the soldiers just do a decent amount of physical damage to the tank. The tank really takes the most of the damage. The damage dealers should be making sure that they use defensive during Warp Blood and kick the mob when not in Warp Blood. So we blew that one up. We blew up the one down there. We blew up the one on top. So there's one more creative explosives, and we blew up the one by the entrance. So there's one more that we need. This one is also partnered with a sniper, so you want to split your kicks between the Blood Warper and Trick Shot. Doesn't look like we're going to be picking Trick Shot, so Mage will take some damage there. Pop off these explosives, and then once you finish with this one, there's a little glider kit up here, and that'll allow you to glide down to the bottom floor. Most folks tend to aim for this target. Looks like we've deviated here. We're just gonna glide down randomly, which is an interesting approach. Everybody's stealthed. He's going straight for the kelp here. This kelp, usually they pull it all together in this one big pack here, and it does this ability called Jettison Kelp. which I believe actually is a targeted ability, and then they also cast Restorative Algae, which you want to kick. So you want to try and leverage your group stops here as best you can. Of course, I just used all of mine, so I'm just going to use my defensives now to make sure that I hopefully live here. And then to summon the final boss, you just place the bombs that you collected over here. This boss is called Swamp Face. You'll see why in just a minute. And the hunter made a point to say we need a little bit more trash, so we'll likely pull some of these before we go downstairs. Swamp Face is pretty straightforward. He will do a frontal on the group, and then he'll do another ability where he will tie the group together. So he'll partner group members together. So everybody needs to stack. I don't know what this looks like in terms of killing spree, so we're not going to push it until our tether is off of us, which will leave us a pretty small window. But it is what it is. And then he also does this AoE ability, which just destroyed our mage. Wish I was tethered to him, because then I can killing spree. We can killing spree now. We're just going to do that real quick. It wasn't a full combo point one, which is a bit of a bummer. And then we got a group together, and we move left. Now, if you're a healer, you actually don't have to group unless one of your group members dies. We're going to pop a defensive here for the incoming waves. That one was much better. And then our tether dropped. Oops. Our tether dropped, so I tried to killing spree, but he re-tethered. Probably pulled them around a little bit. And that's it. Once you understand the rhythm of this fight, it's not too hard. The waves do hurt. A lot of this does hurt at a higher item level, or a higher key level. So something to keep in mind is we definitely want to take as little damage as possible and stand with your partner and always move left. Just pop Cloak of Shadows on that one because we want to make sure that we're using that. Really want to use killing spree. Ooh. All right, he just went straight down. So this next trash mob, it's a lieutenant in this dungeon. It's called Bubbles, and Bubbles will target everybody in the party with a little AoE like that. These AoE swirls. He does a frontal, and then he does party-wide damage with backwash, which is what's coming up right now. And rinse and repeat. You don't want to hit the bubbles. The bubbles hurt. So we're going to do an interesting exercise where we see what happens when we killing spree. Probably wasn't the best to do that. Well, we couldn't see, but it is what it is. Do that AoE again. We lost our druid. when you in season 3 they're gonna put obvious checkpoints into all the dungeons, so you won't ever have to know this again. But when you release in this dungeon, when you release in any dungeon, until season 3, it was always kind of question mark of where you released. But after you kill Swamp Face, you will release right where he is. So the druid could have gotten out of dodge and been totally fine. Or sorry, the druid could have released and came back down and continued to heal us, but he just decided to stay dead and get resurrected. So things that we really want to be seeing from our group right now that would really, really help us is kicks. So this guy over here, this electrician, at least the hunter trapped him. He was just sitting over there just casting on us and doing a ton of damage. In my opinion, kicks are extremely important in a dungeon. If anybody in my guild heard me say that, they would roll. Man, I hope we get a keystone for... Okay. I hope we get a keystone for an untimed dungeon. I'm not actually 100% sure on that, but... we want that. I know we get a Great Vault slot. That's really what we're here for. We wanted at least two hero Great Vault slots before reset tomorrow. That's the whole reason we're streaming right now. And these are more of the same. The one thing... oh, God. The one thing that's different about these mobs is these electricians, so the inspectors are completely the same. We're just getting friggin' nuked. You want to be kicking those, keep them in. Oh, we're gonna die. I really need to get health potions after this dungeon. So while we're dead, the electricians will cast lightning bolt. It does do a good amount of damage. You can see pub just gets chunked. It was chunking down everybody, so you want to kick to make sure they come in together. The jump starter will be pulsing AoE damage, and then the inspectors are of course doing their own thing where they jump behind everybody and AoE. So a couple of things obviously I could have done there was better kicks. My kick macro definitely doesn't seem to be working, so I never pasted in the YouTube description, but you don't have to be using that one for sure. So we want to make sure that we focus a target and probably make it our prio to make sure we keep kicking and keep the amount of lightning bolts down low. We also want to be using our AoE blind to interrupt not only the electricians but the inspectors as well. And then we also want to be making sure that we're using our full stun stop with our kidney shot, preferably at max combo points, but that's not always going to be possible. So really just trying to interrupt as much as we can. But the tank probably didn't feel super good after that group wipe, so he has decided to pull less and just kill these two and then kill these two. So we're going to focus on this guy. And we want to be prioritizing damage on the jump starter. Oh boy. Yeah, we blind. Kick. One's dead. Man, trouble in twos is no joke. I'll be fine. The biggest thing for us is going to be getting a different key. So this is the last pull of the dungeon, last trash pull. We want to make sure that we're trying to prioritize one of these jump starters because they're both pulsing AoE damage. So we want to be frequently using our defensive cooldowns. We want to be focusing in on one target. It looks like we're a little bit split in that regard, which is unfortunate. And they're both going to be putting AoEs down on the ground. We really just want to end this as soon as possible for the healer's sake, although they're doing a great job keeping us alive. And then once we go down to one, everything really just like calms down a little bit. And then we're going to head into the final boss room. We'll walk through the abilities here. Easel Gigazap. So he starts off by pulsing AoE damage and sending out lines. You dodge the lines and you use your defensive to avoid the AoE damage. So you're about to see that here. We'll see what happens if we risk it with a killing spree. Looks like we did take some damage, but great time to use feint if you're a rogue. Cloak would be good too. Then the world shakes, these puddles come down onto the ground. Nothing really happens too much with the puddles if you're walking in them, but if you are electrified like I just was and you go into a puddle, it will electrify the puddle. And then he's going to summon these spark bots, and the spark bots, you do want to go into the puddles so that you can they'll get stuck in the puddles and you can walk away freely. And then shortly after that, oh boy, we lost Pub. Shortly after that, he's going to go back into the middle and do AoE damage. The big thing for the tank is his tank ability. It does hurt very much. So here we want to be sure that we are pushing our defenses during this AoE. We're keeping them active and staggered since we are a rogue. The mage is upset because of his ping. Gigazap will leave a debuff on you, so you want to be using your defensives here. Last time I used my magic immunity, so I didn't take that debuff damage. And we've got a ton of puddles over here, so we're just gonna run away. Looks like something's wrong with our tank. All we have is feint. We're gonna drink our potion here. And we're gonna try and killing spree before these go out. Somehow our tank survived being stunned, which we'll take. We're going to immune this one with Cloak of Shadows again. So you can see we didn't get that debuff up here in the right hand corner. Oh, I see what's happening. Hangs up on a little thing here. Cool. We got our keystone. Bless up. Thank God. So end of a Mythic Plus dungeon, you get this chest. We never finished one of these in the second episode of the series. We failed to complete the Mythic Plus 2 before reset. inside this chest will be loot. So Coco James, the dyer of the group, with a lovely 8 deaths, got a cloth chest piece. You can see it's champion item level. And then Riskus the rogue got champ wrists. So our goal here with obviously with Mythic Plus dungeons is to get loot, get gear, increase our item level. You can see here this was a very poor example. Hopefully we can recoup in a little bit and show you what it looks like to have a successful group with a time dungeon. The other thing that this is going to get you is going to be Mythic Plus rating. So if we go into the group finder tool and we click Mythic Plus dungeons, also this is horrible. We'll talk about this in a second. You can see your Mythic Plus rating. So even from that untimed one, we got 134 rating. So this is the score that we want to raise to 3K before the end of the season to get that cool mount. This is one of the things. In order to do that, we actually have to do plus 12s and a few plus 13s, which will be really hard. One of the things that is worth pointing out to new players, you'll notice that the hunter just asked if they could get the wrists that the druid got, these disturbed kelp wrists. You never want to equip armor that's not for your like a class of armor that's not for your class. So like cloth wearers like priest, mage, warlock, they always want to wear cloth. Rogues, druids always want to wear leather. Demon hunters, monks always want to wear leather. Plate wearers want to wear plate, and mail wearers, shamans, hunters, evokers, they always want to wear mail. And the reason for that is because when you have all of the appropriate armor type equipped, you actually get a stat bonus. So under armor skills in your spell book, under general, you'll see leather armor is the best armor for rogues. Although they are able to wear cloth armor, starting at level 27, you receive a 5% increase to your main stat for wearing leather. Same thing, you get 5% int for wearing all cloth if you're a clothy, 5% of whatever your main stat is for your class if you're wearing the right armor. So unfortunately for that hunter, he's going to lose 5% main stat as soon as he puts those wrists on, which is unfortunate. But I'm just going to hit the reload button or type in /reload because I want to take a look. Okay, cool. So I added the Raider IO Mythic Plus add-on, and you'll see here that when we press I and we open up our Dungeon Finder group frame, you will start to see each of the dungeons, and it'll show you your Raider IO Mythic Plus score, which I mentioned in a previous video. Blizzard took this and made it Mythic Plus rating. You can click this button to see the same screen as the macro. You can now see here that we have a Mythic Plus 2, which is going to award us an item level 649 piece in our Great Vault. I still don't understand why this says tier 7. We did complete a tier 8 delve. What we're hoping for here is 2 slots with hero gear when we open our vault on Tuesday. That's going to allow us, again, with this, you can only pick 1 piece of gear, but these are going to be the highest item levels, so we're going to hope that there's something that we can work with. I do have a little bit of time left, so what I want to do is try and show you what it's like to hopefully time a dungeon and to do it with a bit of a better group a little bit faster. So I now have a Mythic Plus keystone from completing that dungeon. It's a +2 prior to the Sacred Flame. So what we're going to do is we're going to press I, we're going to go down to pre-made groups, we're going to click on dungeons, and we're going to click start a group. Because I don't have the authenticator enabled, it's going to choose my dungeon, and it's going to automatically fill the title of this key as +2. This is fine. This is what I put in my titles, this is what most people put in their titles, and we're going to list this. And what we're going to do to try and get a bit of a better group is we're going to invite people that are at least our item level or higher. And while we wait for people to queue up for this, we are going to, I think we're going to buy some enchants. And the other really major increase would be completing the Liberation of Undermine campaign, which we can definitely do while we're completing this, or while we're waiting for our group to queue up. But here, let's do some planning. So we want to complete the Liberation of Undermine campaign because that is going to reward us with a quest to kill the final boss, which we can do on story mode, and it's going to give us an enchanted runed Undermine crest for free. This is going to allow us to craft one piece of 658 hero level item.
And peruse my
637.
again.
We'll give it a second. And we're going to use that to craft a weapon. That's going to be our main slot, main hand weapon, and we're going to move this normal to our offhand. We are going to keep this, however. So this is definitely something that we can enchant without having to worry about it. But we know that our main hand as an outlaw rogue needs to be a sword or an axe. So what we're going to do, or a mace, is we're going to look into one-handed weapons, current expansion only, usable only, and we're looking at we're going to click on one-handed too, because we're not looking for two-handers or guns or anything like that. We're just going to look at what we have available. What we want is some sort of Everforged or charged item. And you have to be careful when you're crafting because, for example, this charged rune axe, this primary stat you can kind of see here is intellect. It's not agility. We want to make sure that it's agility. So you'll see here the charged slicer. That is agility, stamina, random stat 1, random stat 2. Because we are an outlaw rogue, we don't want a dagger in the main hand. So we're going to be crafting the Everforged mace, longsword, charged slicer, or the charged hex sword, or the charged face smasher, fist weapon. The charged weapons and the Everforged weapons have roughly the same amount of materials from each other. So we take a look here. This requires 10 charged alloy. 649 is pretty good. Ellie Shaman. Oh no. 10 charged alloy, 6 sanctified alloy, 1 storm touched weapon wrap, and 2 nullstone. This is all purchasable from the auction house, but it's going to cost us a considerable amount of gold. The best time to buy something from the auction house is early in the morning. That's just when the prices tend to be the lowest amount. So if you have the bandwidth to choose when you're going to buy something, early in the morning is better than prime time like right now. So looking at this, charge face smasher and charge slicer, both 10. Charge slicer is actually 5 sanctified alloy. So it's 1 less sanctified alloy. We're really, really going above and beyond with this one because we're poor. We don't have a whole lot of money here. So 5 sanctified alloy. The Everforged longsword is 5 sanctified alloy and 12 iron claw ore. So 17 ore total. Everforged mace is 10 sanctified and 3 iron claw. So I'm just going to have to go and see what the total cost of this is going to be for us. One of the cool things that you can do when you're looking to have items created is you can click this button over here that says track recipe. It's going to pop it up over here on the right side of our screen with a list of all the materials that we need to craft this item. So this only requires 13 alloy total, but a lot of it is sanctified. Just double checking. This is agility and stamina. The other thing I'm going to look, face smasher is 16. Slicer is 15. So we're going to track that. Longsword is 17. And these are daggers. We don't want daggers. So now I'm going to go over to this guy's auction house mount, and I am going to, oops, I untracked those recipes. I think we bring that. This is a very under-geared tank and a very over-geared dragon. 682 item level, 3200. Doesn't have, okay, it's just not showing on my character screen. So this guy's going to just do a ton of damage. This guy is a little bit lower than I would really, really like to see taking a +2, but the fact that he's with a really geared friend kind of indicates to me that hopefully he'll be okay. He's got his 701 Delve belt, at least. So he spent time in Delves. He prioritizes champion sword and shield, champion shoulders, but he hasn't catalyzed anything yet. Let's take a quick look at his talents. He's running Mountain Thane, which isn't the best right now for Warrior. They're all running Colossus. He does seem to have most of the core talents that you need. 658 Druid. Best run is a 4 Floodgate. 658 is pretty decent. He's not the same Druid that was in the last group. We'll give him a shot. The bar is relatively low here for +2s. So, and we have a Juicer DPS. And hopefully Trix can help keep him going.
I have an extended
So we're just going to finish making
around
our shopping list really quick. I need to track the slicer and the mace. And that guy left with his auction house mount. All right, we're not going to get anything too crazy here. We'll take him. 668. There's plenty of gear. We have a lust. We have a battle res. These are important things to keep in mind when you're making your group comp. Evokers can cast lust, which is something you really want in every group. Druids and warlocks can battle res, which is another thing that you often want. When you get into like the nitpicky of it, you probably also want certain raid buffs. Like versatility from the druid, battle shout will be good for us. Stamina from the priest can also be pretty good. But in +2s, that's nothing that we're really concerned about right now. We're just flying down here. Group is formulating. Looks like the Warlock's Hearthstone is on cooldown. 2 people are there, so they'll use the summoning stone. Start gathering the party. Sweet. And I just quickly need to double check that I made sure the difficulty is set to Mythic. Right click, dungeon difficulty, not set to anything, set to Mythic. Hopefully nobody tried to jump in. Looks like the Evoker did. So he went out, went back in. We're going to turn on our potions. Now, Warlocks come with Healthstones, which is good because I said that I should have bought health potions. I wonder if we could craft them real quick. I don't have any gilded vials. That's unfortunate. Oh well. At least we have Healthstones, so Warlocks can add Healthstones or summon a Soul Well where you can grab Healthstones. Healthstones can be used. They have 3 charges. You can use them once per boss fight, and they will restore 25% health. So we're still waiting for Boster to get here. He should have been summoned by his friend. I'm really hoping that a 615 tank is going to be okay. It is just a +2. It's like he's having some loading screen issues. If you ever click on someone to summon them and it just fades out like that, usually means they're stuck in a loading screen. This does not bode well for us. We're going to hit him with a "you good, Boster." There he is. The fact that the loading screen took so long indicates to me that anything could happen. His internet is slow. He's playing on a potato. Could be anything. So we're going to hit it with a /ready check. If everybody's ready, we're going to do a /pull10. It's going to start the countdown.
5, 4,
we're going to pray.
3, 2, 1.
And that console that I clicked on gave us an area where we could insert our keystone. So our keystone is in now. We're going to hit Boster with the old tricks of the trade. And we're going to start rolling the bones. We got our awesome.
The mysteries of Belladar. But of late, the devotees have become secretive, hostile.
It's not going to be good.
The gods sought to kill.
It's not going to be good, Boster.
Dale cries protectives.
All right. So when this pull comes down, we'll talk about this a little bit. So this is Priory of the Sacred Flame. +2, so you can see our dragon friend is doing a ton of damage. This is a common pull to start things off, so you get good use of Bloodlust. And basically when you come in, there's not much going on. There's these sharpshooters that will just sit back and shoot you. But there are footmen that just attack. There are patrols. There are knights that do an AoE, and then there's this group up here that you can actually pull much more separately than this. I'm not sure exactly why we went and pulled all of them, but the whole purpose of this, the start of this dungeon, is the boss that we are going to fight has a bunch of lieutenants, and you need to peel the lieutenants off by completing certain objectives. So when you kill that first lieutenant, Suleiman, he's going to send another lieutenant down. I don't know where they are, though. They should, yeah. LT. Back here. Gotta kill Shay. So you need to kill these lieutenants. They'll peel off. Normally what you want to do is you'll kill them while they're down there. Normally you'll go and you'll kill Chainmail, and then sorry, not Chainmail. You'll kill the first lieutenant that was part of the first group that we killed. Chainmail will come down, and you'll pull that with some of the casters that we just killed. And then what you'll do is you'll wait for these lynxes and these sharpshooters to pat in the appropriate way. You need to kill the lieutenant. Anyways, gotta kill those lieutenants. And as you kill more lieutenants, so there's another one over here, Amia, High Priestess Amia, that we are heading towards now. He will peel off more of his group. The boss is over here up in this top left. So we need him to peel off one more, and then we'll fight the boss. Need to go back. Well, this is one of the annoying parts about doing groups with people that are of this level. They're just not really open to going back. I don't know, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe they don't kill that lieutenant anymore, but I'm pretty positive that they do. Anybody in YouTube chat, can you confirm? This lieutenant does put up a damage shield. They're pretty simple. They mostly just cast, but they do put up a damage shield.
You must defeat Dale Tainer.
The intruders defile the altar of the sacred flame.
I'm gonna ping this one more time. And then we're just gonna enjoy the carry. Dual mail. Dumal, he will cast a priority interrupt that you'll want to kick. It's called Cinder Blast. Normally the tank will get it. Sometimes they won't. I can't tell if he's just trying to ping his friend to pull more or what, but
You won't peel off anymore.
I see their game. They seek to ambush me without my lieutenants.
dude, really? Whatever. It don't matter. So this is what you should, I mean, this isn't what you should expect from a +2. We have a guy, I mean, you can look at the damage meter in the bottom left. He's doing significantly more damage than anybody in the party because of his item level. But this is the power of what you get if you host your own queue, host your own key. You get to choose who you invite into the group. So you can look for folks that maybe are after a specific item or are looking for something, or maybe they're partnering up with a friend, like this guy is, to try and help them out. And you can leverage that to your advantage. So whenever you're building your group, just build it with folks that are equal to or better than you, and you'll be in good shape.
My spear aims true.
I mean, you can see this guy is
Show them the power of the
absolutely cooking. This boss is dying too fast to even talk about its abilities. So Dale Cry will lunge on someone you want to kill. You want to damage him to break them out. he'll throw a spear. You don't want to stand in that. And then he will cast, and you want to kick that. His partner that you fight him with will cast an AoE ability. That's pretty much it. There will be a tank debuff that needs to be dispelled. So if you are if you're a healer, you want to dispel that pretty much right away. And then normally people will line of sight this around the corner, but and as you can see, these additional mobs will come in, so you don't want to get hit or pull too much. So usually they'll pull them back outside. These mobs, the paladins will cast this consecrate on the ground, so you want to move with your tank. The priests will heal just like they've been doing the whole dungeon, and the Templars will just hit stuff. The paladins also cast Sacred Toll, which is a group-wide AoE. You want to use your defenses at that time. And we really want our tank to not die. We mostly want him to move out of there. Now we just let him cook.
They belong to that old fool's sister. Her usefulness to the Empire has passed. Soon, the true faithful will arise, and the Arathi will be mighty.
There are also these conjurers. They do cast Firebolt. You kind of do want to try and kick these in. You can see there's a ton of casts that are pretty important in this dungeon. Like, you want to try and get the conjurers in. You want to be kicking the fireballs when you can, but you really want to make sure that the priests don't get the heal off. You can stun that flame strike if it's a problem, but it shouldn't be too bad. You clear all of those packs, and the second boss of the dungeon, Baron Brompike, will jump down. You want to group up on this boss fight because he is going to do an ability, that one, Hammer of Purity, that's going to summon these hammers that are going to start swirling around. So if you stack up together and then you move, they'll all be kind of like spinning in the same area. And then you want to wait a second because he casts these holy shields, and you want to make sure that there's nothing covering that little orb that was on the ground. The group needs to run into that orb in order to get rid of its charges. When you run into it to take a charge, you'll get a dot on you. So as a DPS player, you really only want to take one unless you have a strong defensive. Like I could, for example, have used Cloak of Shadows, so strong defensive or an immunity, and we just did exactly what we weren't supposed to do, which was ooh, we might die. We're gonna hit our Hellstone. If you have a magic immunity like Cloak of Shadows, you can go in and take as many of those as you want, but you could see how impactful that was for me to just take two without much of a defensive. So stack for holy hammers, stay out for the shields, go in to pop the bubbles. That's fundamentally it. And this is one of the dungeons that will continue into Season 3. So you'll get a little bit of value from that. Because you can use this again. And so we're just actively trying to keep up do damage, keep up our defensives when the AoEs make sense. And you can see this one is clearly going much, much, much faster than the last one. So we're doing great there. This room is a little bit crowded, so most of the time folks will line of sight this around the corner. We'll pull in these various casters. This is another common sort of lust pull, so These mages will cast Fireball Volley. One just got off, which isn't the best. On higher level keys, you absolutely want to make sure that you're kicking that. A new mob has also been introduced here, the Light Spawn. So the Light Spawn at a certain health percentage will start casting an ability. I'll show you what it looks like on the next pack. If any of these other mobs are left in that AoE when it finishes casting, they will heal. So you don't want them to heal. So I'll show you with this Light Spawn here. Prioritize that. There's that Fireball Volley. The Light Spawn also casts Purification. That's a heavy AoE target. And here's Burst of Light. So these guys need to move out of it, or they need to die before that goes off. But Purification is a heavy AoE damaging ability. So if you're getting targeted by that, the Light Spawn with that ability, you want to use a personal defensive or a magic immunity. If you're a priest or a paladin, you can click on these orbs. They'll give your party a versatility buff. And then the Light Spawn have the most health, so we want to try and target those guys. And then Fireball Volley. Brompike is another lieutenant. This map or this dungeon has a ton of lieutenants in it. Brompike pulses AoE damage. You can see 184,000 damage every 0.5 seconds. So you really you want to try and kill him. You want to use cooldowns on this guy. Most likely, if they line up, we're going to be fighting the boss pretty soon after these last two trash packs. But the longer it goes on, the worse everything hurts in that regard. So. And these mobs will explode when they die. They'll do some damage. So on low key levels, it doesn't really matter, but on higher key levels, I don't want to stagger it out. But your healer just needs to be aware. Like you can see, we all took some pretty significant damage there. We're at 99% trash, so we will have to kill one more thing, but we're going to go into the other boss. This boss, much like the other ones, does have an ability that needs to be kicked. She also drops an AoE just out, an AoE circle that just needs to be moved. And then she casts this Blinding Light. Blinding Light, you need to turn around. I had to turn around because I had to run away anyways, so that kind of worked out for me. But kick the boss, avoid the AoE, turn around for Blinding Light, and then she also does that Purifying Beam. And you want to run away with that. Try not to run over your party members. At 50% health, she will teleport up to the top and the group will run. And you want to break through her shield as quick as possible because she's going to be summoning ads. When you break through the shield, you can kick her. That'll have her stop summoning the ads. And the ads slowly lose health as they run. So if you're like a druid, for example, oh boy. If you're like a druid, for example, you can drop Ursul's Vortex out there to keep them out there for a little bit longer. They will fixate on DPS players. So like you can see there, I started to take a ton of damage. Turn for that Blinding Light. I started to take a ton of damage. I hit evasion so that they stopped hitting me. And we're done here. We just need to kill one more mob. So we completed Mythic Priory of Sacred Flame.
Done. These zealots no longer steer our faith towards destruction.
And we just need to kill one thing. As soon as you kill one thing and complete the dungeon, or as soon as you hit that 100% mark, everything will despawn. You'll see that here. or not despawn, but it will basically stop fighting you. So we did it. We nailed it. We did the +2. We actually did it so quick because we brought that juiced evoker that we hit +3 on the keystone, which you can see on that little screen that just popped up there. And our keystone level, because it was, sorry, I just gotta get rid of this. I don't know why it keeps popping up. Because our keystone was a +2 and we did it to +3, we'd have a 5 cinder brew. And a 5 cinder brew, oh, we got loot. A 5 cinder brew is going to give us higher level loot. It's still going to be champion level loot, but it will be a higher level of that. And then starting at +6s, we'll get hero loot just from the end of the dungeon. So this is a huge upgrade for us. This is actually exactly what we were looking for. This is a 639, so it's champion track armor. It's a chest piece. It's also haste versatility, which is funny. But you might be saying, well, your current chest piece is 632. Like, why does 639 matter so much? It's on that champion track. So that means that when we upgrade it to the max, it will it can go higher than the veteran one. We can only upgrade the veteran one 4 more times. We can upgrade the champion one even further beyond that. So this is where we're going to end for tonight. We're going to equip this champion chest piece because it is a direct item level upgrade. We're going to leave the group. We're going to hearth back. But we made some pretty good progress. We're 638 item level. A couple of things that we still really need to do. We need to finish the Liberation of Undermine campaign, quest campaign. We'll definitely do that next time. That's going to unlock a hero crafted piece. We're going to use that on our weapon, which is what we were calculating the cost of before. Copy add-on name and don't show this again. Okay. We're going to complete the Liberation of Undermine campaign. We're going to craft a hero item. We're going to finally go in and buy enchants for all of these. We're going to pick from our Great Vault, which is going to give us another piece, hopefully, that we can catalyze and turn into tier. If not, we're just going to catalyze what we have. We're going to catalyze these pants because they're already hero track. We're going to catalyze this chest piece because it's champion track. That's going to give us our 4 piece, which means Roll the Bones has a 40% increased chance of granting an additional combat enhancement and applies 1 stack winning streak, which means we're going to be rolling the bones, getting better results, doing more damage. We are going to get a key from our vault when we pick the piece of gear. So we will, just like we did today, we'll have the power to run our own key, host our own group, and what our goal is going to be for next time. Honestly, we're going to make a pretty big push, but what we're going to try and do is just complete all of the dungeons. That's going to boost our IO score, because you can see we're getting 150 or somewhat IO score per dungeon. So we'll get that up close to the 2000 mark. We'll at least get to 1200 just by finishing all the different dungeons at that +2 level. That's going to make it easier to get into groups. We're going to push our own keystone level higher, and we're going to try and list that as well. So like, for example, we could list this +5 and attract hopefully stronger players. There's a chance that they see our 304 Raider IO score and our item level of 638. And they're like, oh, maybe not, but we're making good progress here. We'll also start spending some of our currency. So we already have 2,000 Valor Stones. So we want to go and we want to make sure we're never capping our Valor Stones. So I'm going to right click these 2 Fractured Spark of Fortunes. That's going to craft another spark for us. We can craft this gear at 645 item level. So we'll start working on embellishments. So there's a lot of stuff for us to do next time. But this really got us into a good place to get something from our vault. So we'll definitely get a piece of hero level loot here. We're supposed to be getting a tier 8 delve, but it doesn't say that. We did complete a tier 8 delve with Delver's Bounty. We got that hero track piece. So we're going to be opening up this Great Vault next time. We're going to be praying for not a weapon, not a belt. We really want any of the tier slots that we can. Maybe not even pants. Not pants would be great too. So we really want chest, shoulders, maybe a helmet, maybe some gloves to allow us to catalyze, and then we'll be crafting in a lot of our other slots as we level up. Our goal is going to be to make it so that we have a +6 or a +7 key. We just want to run that as many times as we can to gear up as quick as we can. That's going to give us hero gear at the end of the dungeon, and it's going to give us gilded crests. When we fill out all of our slots with hero gear, that's going to make our weathered and carved crests not useless, but we won't need our weathered and carved crests to upgrade those anymore, and we'll be able to convert those into runed and gilded crests. We need 80 gilded crests to craft a piece of 681 gear. So the first thing that we want to do is save up 80 of those crests to try and craft a 681 weapon, upgrade from our 651. We want to use our carved crest and our rune quest to upgrade our Nightfall's Curseblade Cudgel up to max rank. We want to keep leveling up our belt. We want to start crafting in all the other spots. So we're going to be spamming those 6s and 7s as much as we can to accumulate as many gilded crests as we can. And once we get to a comfortable level, 655, we'll continue to try and keep pushing those up. We want to be doing +10s. Once we get all the +10s completed, we can start continuing to move into 11s and 12s, which is going to be our ultimate goal. At 655 to 658, that's really going to also allow us to queue into Heroic Raid. Our second goal was getting the Ahead of the Curve achievement, so we'll give that a shot too and see where we land. But thanks for watching this one. Really appreciate the support and the YouTube and Twitch viewers that we got this time. If you like the series, definitely like and subscribe. It gives me the motivation to keep going with this challenge. I am having a lot of fun with this though, so like this isn't going to be the end of it. Season 3 is going to start really soon, and my plan for that is to really just continue this. We'll start with a week 1 how do you gear guide, recommendations for how to spend your crests the first month, and then I'm going to spin the wheel again. We're going to pick a different class, and we'll start a little bit earlier in season 3, and I'll show you how quick it can be to get to 3KIO at the start of a season compared to at the end of a season like we're at right now. The other thing we'll do is we will start that with a completely fresh character in season 3. So we'll go through the leveling campaign. I'm not going to probably show that to folks. I'll start right at level 80, or maybe I will, or at least stream it or record it, and we'll level that character. We'll boost it to 70. We'll level it to 80. We'll say, okay, you're a fresh level 80. What do I do? Where do I go? We'll get the campaign catch-up gear. We'll get that crest. We'll craft. We'll go from there. But a lot of the stuff that you're seeing now, those core fundamental principles, will repeat again next season, just with different dungeons. So thanks again for watching. Like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments any feedback. I'm happy to roll that in. Really appreciate the engagement that I've gotten so far.